Wonderful. Okay, let me know where you're from in the chat. Welcome, welcome. From Virginia. We're going to be quite international today. Wow. New Mexico. And I'm in Europe, in Germany. Welcome. So grateful and honored to be here with you. I think there will be quite a lot more coming, and I just turn off my phone here because it keeps beeping. And you'll have to bear with me today because there's a lot going on here. I'll let you know in a second. I was diagnosed with COVID yesterday, so I want you to bear with me in case my voice goes, in case I have to turn off my microphone to cough, whatever. But I did not want to disappoint anyone. I just thought I would try it. Okay, Michelle. Yeah, we would appreciate looking into your lovely eyes if you could turn on your video anytime. And as I say, there are very many registered for this, and let's see who's going to turn up. Okay. So I know that there's quite a few of you who have never been to an event here with me before. I'm so happy to have you. And there's one huge big reason that I am doing this, and this is because, well, since the beginning of COVID, as I say, when it started and I took everything online, I realized even more than, watching people online, watching women online, that women have been not been able to say some things. Women have been silent for too long, either consciously or unconsciously. And thank you so much for the healing wishes. Thank you. But we are all very, very needed, each and every one of us. We are supposed to stand in our full potential and express ourselves confidently, be it in our private lives or in our professional lives. And it's time to do this. It's time for us to wake up and to be able to express, why we came here, what we brought with us, our gifts, our talents, and reap the benefits for it. Yeah. So many of us have already felt this call, this pulling to express ourselves a little more, a little deeper, to express ourselves from the inside out, from our deepest truth. And this urgency is real. What we feel here is real because it's the universe calling you. And I just want to let you know your choice to be here or even to watch the recording is so important. And your choice to say yes to yourself, that you're going to spend this time on yourself, this matters. So place your hand on your heart and just send yourself some love. And I just want to acknowledge each and every one of you for showing up for this. So I want us to get the most out of this together. Just imagine that we are in a virtual room together, which we are. And put yourselves on gallery mode and just take a look around at these amazing women here. And we're all in this together. This is our space, and we're going to dive into some very deep self-inquiry soon. And I invite you to be entirely present with us. Let yourself engage in this webinar with innocence and see what it does to you. So I hope that you are ready and willing and open to learn something new. If you are, just put your hand up. Okay, great. Okay, and I also invite you to use the chat to share, because it can also support other women to do the same, and no one will be able to see the chat on the recording, so this is just for us. Okay, now I would like to begin by asking you where you are right now. How do you feel with voicing yourself, with expressing yourself? So on a scale of 1 to 10, if 1 was feeling totally unconfident and 10 was totally confident, where would you be on this scale? Oh, Michelle has a hand raised. Okay, let me see. Yes, Michelle, would you like to share something with us? No? Okay, it's just that your hand is raised. Okay, that was probably four. No, okay, that's wonderful. Oh, a six, a six. Okay, right. And how about you other ones? On a scale from 1 to 10, how do you feel? Do you feel confident or unconfident? You see now, if one was say seven, yeah, it goes up and down. It goes up and down for me too, depending on what I'm doing. That is the truth. Yeah, okay, great. I just wanted to sort of test the weather before I continue. Okay, wonderful. So let me see now. Did you come here because you want to be able to speak up for yourself more? If you do, just, yeah, exactly. Raise your hand. Mm-hmm. How many of you are here maybe because you have issues of being seen or heard? If that is you, then you can raise your hand. Mm-hmm. Okay. How many of you are here because you feel you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing in the world, maybe that you have something different you would like to say? I know that there's some of us like that as well. Yes, I know. Then, yeah, those are all of me. Okay. All right, then you're in the right place. And I'm going to give you some tangible tools today. I'm here to support you to unleash your voice and to help you to become more confident so that you can be seen, be heard, and even get paid more, get paid what you deserve. So please stay until the end, as you will probably have a lot of clarity around yourself. Yeah, and you'll probably have some aha moments as well. So let me just tell you something about myself before I start, because I know there's a lot of people signed up here who I do not know yet. So I am Irish, which you may hear from my accent, even though I have been living in Germany a lot longer than I lived in Ireland. I am trained in cellular healing and I support women. I have been supporting women for almost 30 years now with deep healing process work to help them clear their blocks and unleash their voices, which is so important for me, and to allow them to have the life that they really want to live and express themselves with what they came here to put out into the world, because each and every one of us has a gift. So I am the founder of the Intuitive Feminine Leadership Academy, where I have practical programs to help my clients achieve a lot more connection with themselves on all levels and get in tune with themselves and liberate themselves and empower themselves. And today I am diving into 3 keys to unleash your voice. These 3 keys are: number 1, limiting beliefs. Number 2 is your voice story. And number 3 is bringing on your vision and your dreams, which is something very beautiful that we don't usually allow ourselves to do. So we're going to do that later on. Okay, so I am so grateful to support amazing women, and I love what I do, and I feel very satisfied doing it, and I feel a lot more healthier and a lot more expressive and creative and more comfortable in my body than I did 20 years ago. But it wasn't always this way. Um, I used to organize holistic seminars for hundreds of people in multiple countries. That was my work. And the pay was quite good. Colleagues were amazing. And I loved to travel. And although the hours that I worked, they were long, because I was really responsible for everything. And that the seminars would run smoothly. And there was this whisper in my head that there was much too much stress in my life and I should be doing something else, but I didn't really listen to it. I put it off. I didn't know how to stop. I ignored it completely. And this whisper, it grew very loud and became more and more uncomfortable. And actually, although I was organizing these amazing seminars, I actually wanted to be on stage. And that's the truth. I wanted to be on stage. instead of constantly organizing. And when I was off work, I would go out for a ride on my horse, which made me feel a lot better. And it was one sunny Sunday afternoon in August, just after the fields were all harvested here. And I saddled up my horse and I rode out of the village that I lived in. And horses are extremely sensitive to their riders. And my horse sensed my stress. And I could feel him starting to accelerate, to release that stress. He bucked. He'd never bucked before. And he galloped off across the field. He took off and my saddle slipped. And I hung to the side. It was like hanging on for dear life. And I knew, well, I'm not going to get this saddle back up again, so I'm probably going to fall off, which I did. And it was like in slow motion. And I landed hard, really hard. And my body told me not to move. And something was wrong. Something was really wrong. And I had my phone in my pocket. So I called my girlfriend who I'd seen as I rode out of the village. And she called the ambulance for me. She came and caught my horse, who was standing thinking, oh, what have I done now, sort of thing. And she brought him back to the stables. And I was given an injection to move me. And when I woke up in hospital, I was told that I had broken my spine. So suddenly, I had to wear a corset from my hips right up to here because I wasn't operated on. It was sort of to keep me together. I was stuck. I was in total pain, and I felt powerless. And I knew I wasn't going back to work, and I couldn't do anything at all. I spent almost 1 year like this in pain, scared that I would land in a wheelchair. And my body was held together by the corset. And it almost drove me crazy, lying in bed, looking at the ceiling for most of the time because I'm not that sort of person. And I was scared to move. And the pain, it did get worse now and again. And after one long year of healing, where the whole of my spine changed its shape, my back became very straight, and I had to learn to uh, to 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 use all the muscles again in a different way. Anyway, after 1 year, I was willing to go back to work, but of course, my job, I had lost it because someone else had to take over, and she wasn't willing to give it back. So I had a lot of time to think. And 6 months after I got my corset off, I realized how much I had changed. When I looked inside, I asked myself, well, how have I changed? What is it that I need to change in my life now? What was it that I hadn't been listening to? What was it that needs to be expressed through me now when I have this chance to do it? I had this deeply intuitive side to me, which I had completely ignored for such a long time because I'd been so busy. And I had the desire that I had been brewing up for ages. I wanted to gain my confidence again and find my next steps. And I knew I couldn't do this on my own. So I gathered 3 of my wisest, most intelligent, best girlfriends, and we did this together. And they took me through these steps. And I realized then that I had something to give, that I not only could facilitate healing for myself, but also for others. And I founded the Intuitive Feminine Leadership Academy, which has helped many, many women already. I got my confidence back, and I started a new chapter in my life. And after the accident, my relationship to horse riding changed, and I found the joy I got from riding my horse, and I got from facilitating women's circles and coaching women with cellular healing techniques and empowerment training. And time after time, women transform in wonderful ways and become even more confident in speaking in a way that they never knew before. And even though my horse is, he passed 3 years ago, he was very old then, I honor him as one of my teachers who brought me to this moment. So if only I'd listened earlier. Now life is so good that I get to support others like I always wanted to. And I'm creative. I have been writing books. I'm also an author. I work in my own time and there's no stress in my life. I work from wherever I want to, listening to what my body and my soul are telling me. And I am excited to share some of these exercises with you today, exercises I still use each and every day. And believe me, we are much more powerful than we think we are. And we have much more potential than we think. Yeah. So if I can do this, you can do this too. I'm going to share 3 keys to unleash your voice. So pop a yes in the chat if you are ready to dive in. Let me just take a sip of water here. Okay, great. Wonderful. So let's dive into key number 1, which is our limiting beliefs, which we're going to take a look at right now. And to be able to explain this, our limiting beliefs, we limit ourselves, we do. You know, we're not just a complex system of feelings. We also have beliefs, and there may be a vow here and there, which may come up for you as well when we're going through this, so just stay open. Each and every one of us has our own special structural conditioning made up of beliefs and values and rules and memories from the place that we grew up in, from our religious background, from our family, from our social circle, and the whole of your life right up until now. We're like, completely different maps in our head with all these things that we have been conditioned on. Each and every one of us is different. And you may have even distorted some things or generalized some things which other people see completely differently than you do. So beliefs are powerful, especially limiting beliefs, because they do limit us. Even as vows are very powerful, they, like, even a marriage vow is very powerful, but we sometimes take a vow on something different and we hold ourselves to it unconsciously and sometimes consciously as well. They unconsciously keep us stuck in many areas of our lives. And the reality is that a limiting belief is simply your truth until you recognize it as being limiting. It's then that you're ready to change it. It takes a special kind of a mental dance to step outside of yourself to see what's holding you back. And it takes a special kind of process to actually remove these limiting vows and beliefs from your system, which we can do, which is very powerful, very liberating, and it will propel you forward in your life. We all try to fit in. We all do. But the lens you view yourself through is colored by your upbringing, your beliefs, and your experiences. And our biggest struggle is how we stand up for ourselves and speak out, because we automatically, because of these things, we keep ourselves small. And we struggle maybe with hurting other people's feelings. If we speak up for ourselves, we're scared of how it would affect others. We fear rejection, being ridiculed. We fear judgment. We feel shame sometimes. We even fear not being accepted or even loved. Who doesn't want to feel loved? But this can even come from past experiences and childhood trauma, which are still ingrained in the cells of our bodies. So if this happens unconsciously, we keep ourselves unseen, unheard, and we don't know why. So we're going to dive into some of our limiting beliefs now. We're going to see if we can uncover them. My suggestion to you is to stay open and just try to expand yourself just a little bit energetically, as if you are going out of your comfort zone, or even the space you think that you are sitting in, because you are much, much more than that. And for that, it's necessary to just imagine that you are breaking like a self-inflicted shell of limiting beliefs open. You know, like a bird cannot fly until it breaks the shell to be born. A butterfly can't fly until it breaks out of the cocoon that it's in, and we can't live fuller until we break through our own personal shell. So breaking free from limiting beliefs is just the same. Okay, so just be gentle with yourself to see what comes up. I hope you have some paper and a pen. Uh, and when we start to work on ourselves to deactivate these limiting beliefs, which is like rerouting our neural pathways, the old patterns will start to fade away on their own. I know this from my work and from my own experience. So I would like to ask you just to take out your journal and ask yourself, this is the first exercise we're going to do today. Ask yourself, what are the limiting beliefs or the negative beliefs you have about your own voice, about voicing yourself, about expressing yourself? And what happens whenever you try to do this and you feel stuck? What are the negative beliefs? Mm, is there something you have been telling yourself, about being able to express yourself? Maybe it's because maybe you're afraid of judgment, maybe you're afraid of rejection, or maybe there's even a belief that you are holding from your upbringing. Maybe someone has said something to you when you were smaller. Just open and see what comes up for you and write it down. Maybe you're even scared of being different. Now, I was for a long time, and I didn't allow myself to be different. I tried to fit in. Maybe there are even words of self-doubt that are coming up for you. Let's take a few moments and write that down. When you write something down, see how it makes you feel. what's coming up for me very strongly is that girls' opinions aren't so much um, they don't hold so much weight as those from boys. I grew up sandwiched between two brothers, and it was never really very important what I had to say. Whew, yeah. Is anything coming up for you? You're welcome to share it.
I was going to pop it in the chat, but I'm going to.
Yeah.
So there's a theme that I've been working with around my voice is that, and it comes from my childhood experiences in patterning. And messages still linger that no one cares what I have to say and no one is listening. So it was interesting when you were saying, well, how does it make me feel? So the term injustice has been coming up for me around this, that it's
Mm,
fair that no one seemed to care,
yeah.
you know? So
Oh,
that
yeah.
one of the things I was exploring. So
I really feel that as well. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah.
If that's okay to share out loud, because it's kind of hard
Please.
to write it all.
Yes.
Um, and I like what Dev Sarup just did about connecting it to earlier life, and that's probably going to be my next step. But where I am is the frustration around, well, it's hard. I can't, is what I start with. I can't find the words that convey how powerful how powerful I am, how powerful my work is. And I am inadequate when I describe what people can get from working with me. And so this is really good to hear what Dev Sarup says. So look, and that feeling I got was anger. And so this is going to be good to dive a little deeper to feel, well, like what are some of the roots to that feeling of
Mm-hmm.
frustration
Mm-hmm.
that I'm not understood. It's um, I don't have it that they aren't listening or they're just kind of like, what? What are you saying? That kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Are these words yours or are they coming from someone else's story?
The I am inadequate or no, they feel like truth. They feel like my experience,
Really?
actually.
Okay.
But I know what you're working on is a belief system, so that or limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
So I know it's a belief that's limiting me. So I do know that. But it does
Okay.
feel true to
And I'm
me.
just saying that because sometimes we take on beliefs from other people, and sometimes they're not our own words. They can come from our parents or from society or from our culture. So sometimes it's good to ask us, is this really mine? Or where does it come from? You know?
Mhm. Yeah, where's
Because
it
when we
coming
realize
from?
it's not ours, we can let go of it then. So sometimes
Mhm.
it's good to challenge ourselves that way also. Yeah.
I'm going to jump in. That's really interesting because as you're saying this, I'm thinking about this thing I've been working on. No one cares what I have to say. No one is listening. So as you were talking, Ruth, I was thinking of how that became a patterned belief, right? Like over
Mm.
a bunch of years
Yeah.
and experiences, it became a patterned belief. And then it's still not mine,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because you know, if I picked, yeah, I could keep saying it, but that would so thank you. That was good. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for diving into that with me. And I would like to move on. Well, let's all take a nice deep breath in first. Yeah, put arms above our heads. Bring the energy down again. Yeah. So, key number 2 is our voice story. And this is so important. You know, I always wanted my voice to matter. There was this underlying feeling that it didn't matter. As I said, I grew up sandwiched between two brothers as this little girl in the middle, and we were always just called the boys. And over the course of my life, I was always in an environment where males were dominant, strangely. And in part, they were leaders in their own roles, and the voices of women seemed to be sort of missing. And even when I got married, I had three sons. I'm always being in this male energy, and being under the shadow of this male energy. While no one was actually putting women down within my immediate family, as far as I could perceive, there was this subtle feeling of betterness or being better that the males owned, strangely enough. So, like many of the girls and the women I was with, I automatically embodied an attitude of living in a shadow I couldn't put my finger on. And there was this huge knot in my throat I knew as a child, which is keeping myself silent. Um, I even swallowed back my tears when I was frustrated. I put a huge big lid on my anger, didn't allow myself to feel it. And all this silence that held me captive, like being in this corset again. It compressed my breath, it kept me safe, acceptable, small, convenient. When all I wanted to do was explode, was screaming my truth. And yeah, it robbed me of a lot of moments of joy and connection and love because I wasn't able to express some things. It's been like this invisible cloak I go under and hide under, disappear under, where it feels easier to be under than risking being seen in all of my own greatness. And I always thought I was imperfect, undeserving, broken, ashamed. And growing up, I had these unspoken contracts which didn't allow me to offend other people. I was told as a child that I should be quiet. I was taught to bypass painful topics and avoid potential conflict to keep the peace, to keep me safe. And to become my full self, I had to break these contracts and go off and forge my own path. Yeah, we do shrink, we shrivel, we keep ourselves small when we hold back our truth. We feel discontentment, we feel suffocated, false, angry, imprisoned, disappointed, and even that our lives are being wasted. And even so, there's always this underlying feeling that something even more meaningful wants to rise and be expressed through our being. And it doesn't matter if you are a speaker or if you're an actress, if you are a writer, an artist, a creative, if you're in politics or just a woman expressing your voice. It's important for us to express ourselves for a fulfilled life. And not only that, when we're able to be ourselves and share this with others, we have the power to awaken, energize, and empower other women to do the same. So I want to go into another practical exercise about our voice and about speaking up for ourselves. Just imagine going back through your life. How was it for you growing up as a child? What is your voice story? Just allow yourself to go through your life and see if there was any time in your life where you felt that you were closing yourself off or keeping yourself silent or putting yourself down. I know that my parents said children are to be seen and not heard, especially when we had visitors at home. We had to sit in the corner and be quiet, which became a pattern for me for a long, long time. How was it for you? How did that make you feel? How did it affect you? I see you're still writing. If there's anything you would like to share, please feel free to do so. Oh,
I have something, I've played around with my voice story quite a bit, but there's always new light to shine on it. So I was going through just some memories, and as there's the things that kind of the story becomes the story, like you get sort of like you're just telling the thing, right? And then I deeper, right? And then I started to tear up because I was going deeper into seeing this pattern. And I love how you say, well, how did it make you feel? And I certainly said alone, isolated, very sad, very muted. And I came up with a new one. I held my breath until I graduated high school.
that's a good reframe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm nothing's going to happen here, so I'm just going to hold it, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
so yeah, thank you.
Thank you. But I failed my first oral exam at the university because I had a total blackout. I couldn't remember what I'd learned. And I I went to a psychologist afterwards, thinking I needed one. And the psychologist says, I'm not going to take you on because you're a very confident young woman. So he sent me away. I thought, oh, how am I going to get help here? So um, I dived into some stuff that came up for me myself. And of course, it was okay the second time I passed. But it was a very strange experience for me, not to be able to get the words out that I wanted to get out, and just complete blackout. Very strange thing to happen. Yeah. So if I was I invite you to reframe in a positive way whatever came up for you. If there was anything negative came up for you, just transform the scenario into an empowering message. Picture yourself standing there with confidence and being able to do what you couldn't do then, to be able to change whatever pattern maybe started then. Yeah, invite you to do that with whatever came up for you. And acknowledge yourself for it, of course, what you have been through.
It seems like early on and all through childhood, through high school, I was very expressed. It's um, it's hard to go back and look for a pattern that started earlier because it feels like it started happening as I entered into the world. But then, of course, I know that my first world I enter into it's a mirror. So I do know that. I have that understanding. So there's still, I think, some deep work to do. But I was homecoming queen. I was head of the whole cheerleading squad. I was really in front of people a lot, expressing myself, and I got awards. But something happened when I started college. It just felt like everybody else could say it better. They were smarter. And that kind of brings up some feeling and some tears for me. And I can't think as quickly as other people think. I can't think on my feet. I can't answer questions. I can't raise my hand because I don't have the answer quick enough. And I dated a radio announcer who would really get upset when he called it dead air, because it takes me a lot longer to absorb, listen to myself. I'm just much a different kind of quiet inside. And so this reframe right now that you're helping me with right now is that this is just the first stage of it for me. I am okay with being quiet. How do I love that I'm quiet? And I think I'm going to go read that book, Quiet in a Noisy World.
Hmm. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, can totally relate to that. Yeah. It's like we compare ourselves, and I call it compare despair, but we shouldn't do it.
Ah, great phrase. Yeah.
Yeah, we shouldn't do it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, amazing. Yes, okay, let's move on. Time is flying past. I'd like to go into key number 3 with you now, which is owning our visions and our dreams. And sometimes we don't dream enough, and we should. But let's bring on a vision now. We are going to give ourselves permission to dream today. We are going to close the gap from where you now are, and where you would like to be. Okay? Now, I have been courageous many times in my life. I've stepped up onto stage at seminars, I've given seminars, I've led the participants, and you too can affirm your capacity for courage. You can summon this up and make a vision for your future. Doesn't matter how your vision looks like. Allow it to just flow out of your being and trust in the connection with your inner wisdom. Women have a very strong connection to their wisdom. And I want you now to have a conversation with your future self, the part of you that has this vision. So, what is it that you do want? Yeah? Just envision manifesting your authentic, true voice with the impact and the expertise that you are having. Just allow this part of you to speak to yourself now and write a letter from your future self to your present self with lots and lots of advice and guidance. And just start, dear one, or dear Ruth, dear Doreen, and just write, just let it flow on the paper what needs to be said. Allow yourself to hear what keeps you stuck, and what it feels like if you are not stepping up into this vision. Just let it flow onto the paper. Okay. I invite you to continue that afterwards if you haven't finished, or even to read it again. So that is the 3 keys. And actually, we spend our whole lives keeping ourselves smaller than we are. Just let that in, because the first time I heard that, it was such an aha experience for me, because we are limitless beings. We only limit ourselves. And we are much, much greater than anything that we can imagine. We are embodiments of energy that have never been seen before. And the only way out of keeping ourselves small is going inside. And going inward requires a set of powerful tools and practices. Let me give you an example. Let me tell you about Linda. In our first session, Linda came across as a very shy and timid young woman. And in her stories, she was always the one who stayed in the background and almost never spoke up in conversations. Slowly, Linda began to open up more during our sessions. I was overwhelmed by the beauty and this fascinating woman sitting in front of me. And she explained that as the youngest of 4 children, she was never taken seriously. Her very loud brothers and sisters always took over the conversation, and they gave her little space to be seen or heard. And as she grew older, she had created a rather limited image of herself. So she was shy in groups, she avoided the spotlight, and she hated confrontation. And in our sessions, she realized that she was so much more than that. She may be shy at times, but she can also be very loud when she feels safe. And over time, something wonderful began to happen. Not only did she feel better, but her mind began to change. She spoke up more in conversations with colleagues, and she even cracked a joke now and then. But the biggest gain was her new attitude in the moments when she wasn't doing so well. For example, she began to be kinder to herself when others weren't listening or responding to her. There was this thought she used to have, no one's listening to me. I wish I had more interesting things to say. That gave way to, well, I thought what I just said was interesting. Maybe they didn't understand. Who knows? I just get on with the conversation. And she changed. So let me recap the 3 keys to unleash your voice. We had our limiting beliefs, we had our voice story, and we had our vision, which pushes us forward. And you can reinvent yourself. Your body and your mind have an amazing ability to transform and to heal. Your cells are continuously changing from one cell generation to the next. And when you clear out the root causes of the blocks that you have, you can be free to express what only you came here to express. And I have the tools you need to do this, because we're not meant to do this on our own. We all have our blind spots, and some things need to be cleared out at a cellular level. And if Linda can do it, you can do it too. Now is your time. So I want to ask you, what are you taking away from this workshop today? What have you learned about yourself? Pop it in the chat if you feel you would like to. Or if you're watching the replay on in the Facebook group, pop it in the comment thread below. And thank you so much for going on this journey with me today. I loved having my future self talk to me about my creativity as manifested in my singing. Wow, looking forward to hearing that. Yeah. So if you feel the call to go deeper and clear out your blocks and limitations, if this is resonating with you, if you're feeling stirred by my words, maybe if you're a woman who wants more confidence, if you know it's time for you to express yourself in alignment with your purpose, if you know that there is more of you that wants to come through out into the world, then I would like to invite you to spend 30 minutes with me in a confidence breakthrough session. It would be my honor to take a look with you at where you now are, where you stand, and where you would like to be, and we will make a mini plan for you to take away. And here is the link, which I shall also post in Facebook group later. And of course, if we feel that we are a good fit to work together, we can discuss options to do that also. And if not, no worries, we'll stay friends. And I know this is possible for every single woman. It's never been so needed because we need strong women using our voices in our homes, in our communities, in schools, at work, in government. And I'm here to be an ally around the world right now. And it's time to be bold. So I'm going to recommend you grab a free confidence breakthrough session with me. Just use the link and schedule a time that feels right for you. I have some new sessions put up within the next few days. So I really look forward to seeing you there. Let's connect and see what's going on for you. So thank you so much for listening. Be bold, be brilliant, be empowered. And thank you so much for being here. Lots of love. Bye for now.